Greetings, Benjamin J from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, a 4-hour follow-up on the Lionel 33. I've been running this almost non-stop for the last 4 hours. As you see, it's still running absolutely perfectly. I've got it running nice and slow, trying to keep a good constant speed all the way around this rail. But so far, so good. No problems of any kind. Other than oiling the wheels and the gearing, I have done nothing to it at all. It is running just absolutely perfectly. So, if it'll run 4 hours, it'll run 40 hours. So this thing is going to run virtually non-stop, I'm sure. If there was any problem with the gearing, it would have become evident by now, I'm sure. Anyway, let's speed it up a bit. You see, it's running nice and smooth, good constant speed, reasonably quiet. No problems to report of any kind. Haven't even cleaned the track yet. So what I'll probably do is pull the locomotive off, use a Lysol wet wipe to clean this track. Not that it needs it, but as long as this has been running, it's taken a lot of oxide off of that rail. So I can wipe it off. It'll always help with the conductivity. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick follow-up on this. Like I said, I'll be running this for the next few days. But if there was any problem with the gearing, it would have become evident by now. This has been running almost non-stop. It doesn't get hot. It runs nice and smooth all the way around the rail. No problem with it at all. Of course, I really won't know until I'm pulling some weight behind it. If I had some cars, it'd make a much better test. But so far, so good. This is running just absolutely perfectly. So, like I said, it was an interesting project to be able to bring this old dead locomotive back to life. Of course, I'd never done this before, but as far as I know, neither had anyone else, as far as transplanting a Marx motor into a 105-year-old Lionel locomotive. But it's running really, really well. Like I said, if there was any kind of problem with the gearing, it would have become evident by now, I'm sure. This thing's been going around for hours. Like I said, I won't really know until I get a load of some kind behind it. One car would help. 2 or 3 would be even better. Anyway, looking at the standard gauge stuff on eBay, it is prohibitively expensive. So we will see what comes up in the next few days. Anyway, the next day or so, I'm going to pull this track apart, go ahead and de-rust it, get it cleaned up as best I can, and take it from there. I will eventually get some cars for this. Whether I'm going to pursue standard gauge or not, I really doubt it. It is incredibly expensive. And as you can see, this one rail is taking up a lot of space, and it's really not that big. So I couldn't imagine having a full-sized standard gauge track laid out. It would be really big. I would lose 2 other rails on this layout if I did that. Anyway, so not really sure what I'm going to do with it. Like I said, this was basically just an experiment with that motor to see if I could put a Marx motor in this chassis. And it works. It's running actually really, really well. So I just want to do a quick follow-up. It's been 4 hours since the last one. And this thing's been running almost non-stop. And as you can see, no problems of any kind. And it can actually go faster than this, as you see. Let's slow it down. So it's gotten enough oxide off this rail that I can actually run this fairly slowly now. Like I said, once I get it cleaned and de-rusted, it'll be a completely different ball game. It's amazing, you de-rust this track, how much better it runs. But as you can see, that is running really, really well. And other than a couple of drops of oil, I've done nothing to it at all. So it runs nice, it looks okay, that being a relative term, of course. It looks better than it did when it arrived. Excuse me. And this thing was just, it was an artifact. That's all you can call it. Dead as the proverbial hammer. So just a quick follow-up. I'll probably be doing several of these. So it's been 4 hours. I'll update this again probably tomorrow. And then tomorrow being Saturday, either tomorrow or Sunday, I'll pull this track apart, plunk it down in some vinegar, derust it for 24 hours. This is actually going to look really good once it's derusted. It's not terrible, but there's lots of rust on it. And it will improve how it runs dramatically. Even though it's running quite well now, once it's derusted, you'll be able to run it much slower than this, I'm sure. So, in any case, I just want to do a quick follow-up. 4 hours since the last one. And as you see, it's running with no problems at all. No hiccups, no glitches, nothing. It's been running just like this since the last video. And you can see how dim the bulb is. So I've got this turned down fairly low. So running just absolutely perfectly. Anyway, I'll be doing a couple more follow-ups on this. I'll probably do a video on derusting this track as well. So just a quick follow-up on the Lionel 33. It's up and running. So far, so good. I've been running this now for hours. Like I said, if there was any kind of problem that was going to arrive with the gearing, I'm sure I would have noticed it by now. This has been running virtually non-stop for the last 4 hours. So it's running. It looks acceptable. So anyway, just a quick follow-up on the Lionel 33. I'll be doing some more, and I will do a video on derusting this track, before, after, and during. So derusting standard track, I'm going to have to get a much larger container to derust it in. This track is really big, unbelievably large. My first experience with standard gauge anything. So anyway, just a quick video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.